I double majored in college, and one of my majors is psychology. And I love and hate this topic. See, as humans, we trust our own memory as a videotape of our past. And obviously, we all know that we forget things, but when we remember something, we believe that we remember it exactly how it happened. And absolutely nothing could be further from the truth. This isn't that we misremember a couple finite details. What day of the week you went to dinner with someone, or whose car you took. This is major details, like remembering the attack on the Twin Towers by watching it out the window of your school. When in reality, you were in a classroom in a different state with no windows. That's actually a real example from a real person. It goes even beyond that, because obviously 9/11 actually happened, and we were all probably watching it on TV, and even those could be, minimal details, right? But we can go as far as remembering things that never happened at all. Now, this has been studied multiple times by psychologists over the years. And as recently as 2016, a study in the UK found that as much as 30% of people, when told about an imaginary event as if it was real, like them going on a hot air balloon as a child when they in fact had never been on a hot air balloon, these people remembered that event and shared details about their experience from it. Your memory lies to you all the time. Now, there's a lot of really great evolutionary reasons for this. Your brain is constantly shedding useless memories it doesn't need to hang on to, like what you had for dinner last week. Then it sort of efficiently stores the big details of your memories that you need to hang on to, while not necessarily hanging on to all the minor details. Like 9/11 happened, it was a horrific event, the towers were burning. Whether you watched it on a television or out the window, it doesn't really change the impact that your brain needs to hang on to about that event. And then implanted memories even has an evolutionary reason. Let's say our ancestors heard a story about a certain food that was poisonous and made them violently ill. Now, to your brain, who told you that story is pretty useless, right? The key is remembering that eating that one particular berry will make you violently ill. And if you remember that as a personal experience rather than somebody else's experience, it's much easier for your brain to store that away. And it gives you a lot more of an emotional recall to avoid that situation. So that's why our brain works that way. But that also gets very, very dangerous, especially in society. This is how a lot of bigotry and racism is learned. A lot of bigots and racists have never had a personal interaction or experience with the people they hate, but they've heard these experiences from the people that are around them and assimilated them as their own experiences. And it becomes much more powerful when you perceive it as your own experience rather than just some anecdotal story from some hateful asshole. But it's also one of the biggest flaws in our judicial system, because we take eyewitness testimony as the highest form of evidence. And in reality, it is worse than useless, because cops and prosecutors can make people believe that they have seen or experienced almost anything. Things that have never happened but have sent people to death row. So always remember one thing: that you don't really accurately remember anything.